Ooh.
Fucking Moses, y'all get the fuck out of here! Holes the size of a Kansas City watermelon through your ugly ass bozo face! I ought to jump over this counter and bash your fucking balls in. Right. Get your mama home some chicken, and then I won't have to stuff my boot all up in your ass. I don't get all this shit. I get all this. Put that shit down. All right. Put it down, mama. Dude, what goes Victor? What are we gonna do? Hey, I know you. You work at the hardware store, right?
No.
Picture smell just make you sick. Stop singing. I hate that song.
Oh, this guy. Nope. Worst of all, fuck you. House of a Thousand Corpses. Now, welcome to Goth-Metal Lore. I'm Maestro Drake, your host. And much like the 300, the original 300 movie, we're going to talk about this. Oh yeah, this is the cheerleaders who got killed. Oh man. So I never saw this in theaters. I did the first of the movies I did see was The Devil's Rejects, and I didn't know who these characters were at all. I had no idea, zero idea. This is like great. Rest in peace, Captain Spaulding, Sid Haig. We never needed you more than now. I can tell you pretty much what he thinks of Biden's America and Trump's America. Pretty much, you knew where he stood. You knew where if you could see him alive today, you asked him about Joe Biden, you know where he stood. It's just a load of shite. And there we have another poster. So the first movie I did see was The Devil's Rejects, where we believed all the characters had died, and then we got to what is it? What is it? Hell? I forgot the last movie. I forgot the title of the last. I do have that one. I do have the title for the last movie. So we saw the whole trilogy, and I would say that I still like the first movie. I got this as a DVD. I think I bought it. There was, I don't know if this was Blockbuster or 50/50 Video. There was a place called 50/50 Video in which um, you had all these DVDs going out the door. One of the DVDs I got was Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, and that was a fun time to be had. I got a lot of DVDs. I just bought them up. You buy them up in bulk when they were all getting like liquidated. And so I saw House of a Thousand Corpses through DVD. And the first thing you notice, and this is something that Rob Zombie had done. The guy put so much effort into that first movie presentation. It might not have been Rob Zombie, but somebody else he worked with that really was a wizard with this. He had these interactive like DVD menus. Now, much like the Star Wars prequels DVDs, or even the 6 movies, where you had like you went to a planet, and the planet you had a lot of things going on with the theme. The X-wings would fly around, or okay, so if you were on Naboo, or you would be on Coruscant or Tatooine in the Phantom Menace DVDs, right? So the DVD menus had a life of their own. They weren't just these like bare bones menus. They had lives of their own. And so when you got to the DVDs for the original release of House of a Thousand Corpses, you had the main menu was hey, shut the bed. How you doing, folks? Well, now, it's like you're gonna pick a language, or pick a choice. What are you doing? You motherfuckers better pick a choice. Like, this was like the way Captain Spaulding would talk, right? Because you were on the main menu. You had Baby Spaulding and special features. You had Otis Spaulding, and I think it was pick a language, I think. And there was a Tiny Fuck to Stump segment. Rest in peace to the original actor who played. I think both actors who played Tiny have passed on. But yeah, so House of a Thousand Corpses. Now, does this fit into Goth-Metal lore fantasy? There is a little bit of fantasy implied. This is pretty much... Now, I realized this today, or even earlier this morning, that I'm like one of the few people that hated The Void 2016. There was another person on Reddit who didn't like it either. It's like this was a boring ass movie, and all these characters look like they were written by a 14-year-old. They're all like 14-year-olds who are bitter at their parents and going through puberty. This is a shitty movie, right? And so this guy on Reddit didn't like the movie either. So congratulations to him and me. We are the two people who do not like The Void. But unlike The Void, when Steven Kostanski was trying to emulate Hellraiser 1 and 2 and The Thing, Rob Zombie was trying to emulate a little bit of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because those grindhouse 70s movies, he loved those movies. He loved those movies so much, that they inspired him to do this kind of stuff. And you have four teenagers like you have the four kids in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They're going on a road trip to see Dr. Satan. Uh, they were going to go to some house. They were going to, in the original Texas Chainsaw, they were going to the house. Four youths were going to the house to go and look around, and they found the family, and uh, I think the one person survived. In this movie, the girl appears to survive, but then she goes back to see Dr. Satan. And try to think of House of a Thousand as a sequel to the Addams Family in, well, I mean, any version, pick any version of the Addams Family, right? With the Tim Burton sort of animation and, the funny cartoons, but they're a little bit dark. And here it's like, it's adults. Like these guys kill people, right? So you got the main characters you worry about are Otis Spaulding and Baby Spaulding, his sister. And I believe that Captain Spaulding is their father, even though there is a daddy, but he's another daddy, the old man. And you have Karen Black, rest her soul. She Another actress replaced her for the Devil's Rejects. And then there was what is it, Rufus, the guy with the bear rug on his head. That guy's gone. I think he was killed in the beginning of the second movie. Uh, I think it's Three from Hell. I think that's the last movie. And Otis, what is it? Sid Haig got to be there for the beginning of that movie, and yeah, that's sad. But he got to do one last appearance. Being that was his last movie. That man did so much, and um, yeah, it was so much. So there's a whole fantasy element between Captain Spaulding's Chicken Shack and the house and all the deep, dirty, dark secrets. Dr. Satan's laboratory. You have Tiny Spaulding, who makes two appearances. He first makes a one appearance in this. It makes a big appearance in this movie, right? And then he makes a cameo. Having never seen House of a Thousand Corpses, when I saw The Devil's Rejects, which was more of a 1970s grindhouse kind of real life grounded thing that was different from this one, I saw Tiny. I said, I bet he was from the first movie. That's why I really don't know who he is, but I get a feeling we're supposed to know who he is. So, oh yeah, yeah, he is. And then he burns to death in the second movie. That's sad. So all the Adams Family kooky goth metal lore elements completely die by the time we get to the end of Devil's Rejects. So now when we get to the third movie, it's just straight up killing. Killing and killing and more killing. And the third movie is pretty straightforward, but I think it lacks the punch of the second movie. So if people had to really rank it, let me ask you a question, okay? If Do you think there's two different sets of demographics for Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses? Or do we have the same demographics of people who would sometimes put House above Devils or put Devils above House? What do you think? What do you think would be the consensus? What do you think they would just put? Because the third movie, Three from Hell, is obviously the lesser movie from the trilogy. It's not as good. Being that the dog is the last thing that the Firefly family runs into. Well, I'm saying Spalding. I should say Firefly, Otis Firefly, and Baby Firefly. Who also there's a Rob Zombie spook show comic book tie-in from MV Creations, I think, and I don't have that comic book, but I wonder what that comic book looked like because they show off the characters from the zombie verse, the Rob Zombie verse. You have Sherry Moon Zombie, Mrs. Rob Zombie. You have uh, God damn, I forget the man's name. Bill Mosley. That's right. I didn't look it up. I actually remembered it. Bill Mosley, who's been in other things. Oh, we love this, don't we? Yeah, we love this one. Yeah, there is Sid Haig, and there Bill Mosley and Sherry Moon, and this was the second movie. Yeah, we all thought they fucking died. Maybe they should have died. Never know. I thought that the first two movies were the best ones. But as far as the Goth-Metal lore, obviously Devil's Rejects does not fall in there. Devil's Rejects falls kind of more into the, I would say between, like, that one feels like a lesser version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But that's not to say that that's not a good movie. They're both good movies. But in terms of the atmosphere, Devil's Rejects had less of that atmosphere, and House of a Thousand Corpses had more of that. In fact, they made a whole, like, a haunted house at Universal Studios based on this. And I think Rob Zombie said he had so many problems with the studio about censorship and standards and practices and what should go in this movie, what should not go in this movie. Here is the funeral procession for one of the girls. So you also had not Bill Hader, but the other guy. Uh, you had the actor from The Office, and he was in this movie. You had two guys, two girls, right, boyfriends and girlfriends, and they go on this road trip. They stop at the Chicken Shack. Captain Spaulding warns them not to go there, but they go to the house anyway. They get their ass handed to them. One guy gets scalped. Another guy is punctured to death and like crucified on a wall. One girl is I'm not sure if she's bludgeoned to death. Oh no, she's stabbed to death by baby firefly. Shoo shoo, says the maiden. And I think Sherry Moon Zombie makes a great Harley Quinn, but we already got Lady Gaga. Yeah, look at all this stuff. Ah, Dr. Satan. Ah, right? Yeah, there's so much twisted fantasy elements that I do accept it as Goth-Metal lore. What I thought interesting about Devil's Rejects, though, was that as intimidating as scary as the bad guys were, they got their asses handed to them by William Forsythe, who played the brother of the first sheriff that we see in this movie get killed. Okay, and there's this whole twisted haunted house fantasy elements. There's a lot going on here. The ride here, that's what keeps Captain Spaulding and a lot of the fantasy elements, the costumes of the Firefly family. There's there's their father. I don't know whose father it is. I'm assuming that Mama Firefly has like different children from different fathers. This might be Otis Firefly's dad, who looks like this. Like he looks like the My Bloody Valentine killer, like the miner with the mask on and all this shit that kills people. There's all kinds of weird shit that happens. It is so dark. It is so twisted. Bill Mosley had fun with this. What is it? One day, one of the things I remember him saying is that he liked cookies. Like he likes having cookies as a dessert or something like. And the other thing he liked is that, or like, it was good that he had traffic jam on the freeway, like being in a bad mood, so that he could be in character for this movie. There in the background is Tiny Firefly. You got Mama, you got Sherry Moon as a baby, and you got Rufus. Rest in peace to Rufus. And I think the actor might still be alive, hopefully. There's baby, there's the house, and there she is again. She is an old lady now. This movie was made in 2003, so this movie is over 20 years old, 21 years old. So if you were 21 years old when you first saw this movie, what an anniversary it is for you. You would be in your 40s, early 40s. There he is again. Like, yeah, he's really gonna deal with that. So, Goth-Metal lore. This is a great movie. It is a great companion to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but nobody survives in this movie. We're pretty sure about that. Uh, Captain Spaulding rescues the girl. Then there was Otis in the background. Yeah, this is so great. So, shall I give a rating to this? Let's end it on Captain Spaulding's colorful face. What shall I give this? What shall I rate this movie? An A plus, and what a lovely A plus that will be right there. Very exceptional, man. I mean, I'm just loving that. I'm loving it, right? Unlike it, The Void depressed me. This did not. So there you go. Great movie. I highly recommend you watch it. Uh, Even though Rob Zombie did borrow from other movies, he was inspired to do his own shit because he had his own style. He has his own style. Yeah, The Monsters was disappointing, but uh, it's weird because I liked Pixels and nobody else did. I hated The Void, but everybody else did. I guess I'm just it's weird because we always think about cancel culture and if you don't like this movie, you're sexist or racist. If you like this movie, but such a weird thing when you like a movie everybody else hates, or when you hate a movie everybody else likes. It's like Elaine Bennis when she Julia Louis Dreyfus when she hated The English Patient but liked Sacked Lunch. Anyway, something completely different for Goth Metal Lore Tuesday. Stay tuned for Tuesday. I like it when you visit, but I love it when you return.